I forgot my cushion.
You're going to have to live with it.
I tell you what though, my back is so much better today after that chair.
Anyway. That chair. Oh, that chair.
That chair.
You make it sound a bit sexual.
It's nothing sexual at my age. I'm making it sound like I'm 90. Still in my 30s, mate. Good.
For now.
Right, let's go. What is up, YouTube? It's James from Robin Henry Watches. How the devil are you?
How the devil am I or how the devil are they?
Both.
Because you know how the devil I am. I think I'm still a bit snotty by the sounds of it, so apologies if you hear sniffing throughout.
So today, I wanted to touch on the Hodinkee article.
I think it's more of, we're addressing the article because there are issues.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it raises a lot of topics. So the main thing is obviously, I think it was Danny Milton. Was it Danny Milton?
I think so.
Yes, it is.
Someone Milton.
So he put out an article that basically had questions for Rolex, and Rolex answered directly. What the parts of it I didn't like is it didn't actually cite who at Rolex was answered.
It was very quick, straight into the answers.
Which it comes very much back to the faceless corporation that Rolex is. Mm-hmm. And two, it felt like they weren't even direct answers. It feels like maybe he had a conversation with someone at Rolex, and then he transcribed a summary of their reply. I don't want to say translate,
a summary, that would make sense.
So
it's definitely in his words. Although it's written to be in their words, if you read it, it's very careful.
But it didn't really answer a lot of the questions. It was already stuff we know. So the first one was, I recently read that Rolex is accelerating production to meet demand via 3 temporary production facilities. And the answer is,
basically, yeah.
Yeah, they are. So they're building this like massive new one, which is in the canton of Freiburg. I don't know if I'm
something like that.
Murdering that.
Yes.
So anyway, Rolex is building this new facility to up production, but obviously it's going to take years. Mm-hmm. So they're building these 3 temporary kind of satellites, in location around where they already are anyway.
Nightingale hospitals for watchmaking.
And obviously this has been planned. So they're saying, look, we're not just like putting up a quick few like huts and making some extra watches. It's a planned process. Do you know what I would say though? I'm going to say something. So obviously they're saying yes, anyhow, the permanent site in Buell is still years away. So these temporary sites will allow us to ramp up production much sooner. Do you know what? I'm going to say 2 controversial things. One, I don't actually think that they need to.
No.
There isn't a shortage of Rolex. There's a shortage of Rolex from authorised dealers.
Yes.
Because there's absolutely loads of Rolex on the aftermarket and a lot of new ones as well. So there is probably maybe not quite enough to go around, but there's enough.
It could be better.
And 2, they don't state how much they're going to increase the production.
No.
And what will that actually do to the market? I mean, listen, people thinking,
I wager we won't see a single change.
I couldn't care less if there's loads more new Rolex in the market and price come down. I like doing vintage anyway.
You've got loads of it.
And 2, the whatever the price of Rolexes are, whether it goes up or whether it goes down, there's still money to be made either way.
Yes.
The only way that dealers lose money is when the market shifts downwards quickly, and if you get left holding the bag, so to speak. Yeah. So it doesn't bother me whether they ramp up production and there's loads around and prices come down. 1, it won't really affect vintage, and 2, in terms of the modern pieces, I don't do huge amounts. No. So it doesn't bother me. But I just felt it was a very nondescript answer. They put out this article like, we've got all the answers.
Yeah, it's an exclusive almost.
I mean, they could have done this interview with me and I could have given them that answer. They're going to obviously up production a little bit. So I just thought it was a really, So on this one, so how many Rolex watches are they going to be making now? Rolex won't provide exact numbers. Hang on a sec.
It doesn't even say what they're doing now.
So is Rolex talking about themselves in the third person? Or Danny, is this just you writing it?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
It reads to me that he's right. He's regurgitating info in a Hodinkee way.
And then they're talking about, so that goes into the CPO that obviously he's saying he visited a store in Geneva where they had the pre-owned products and that they're kept separate. And they're obviously hugely higher than, MSRP or RRP, whatever you want to call it. But, for all the people that said it was going to be cheaper, I know we've covered this. Obviously, their prices are like
It's grey market, but worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
You think grey market dealers are bad. I mean, you can say that this adds more value, but does the extra value match the extra price? To me personally, no. To some people, yes.
To the box and papers brigade, yes.
Yeah, but even still, I don't even think so.
This is Rolex box and papers. This isn't Jimmy saying, here, I've got the box and papers, they're all real, trust me.
And it says here, for what it's worth, I can confirm that Rolex HQ has no involvement when it comes to pricing of the watches themselves. And then it goes into inverted...
But how can he confirm it?
But then there's inverted commas, like, now this is actually an official line. It will be up to the official Rolex jewelers to determine the prices. I'm going to call that bull. How is it that... So CPO gets launched, right? Rolex says, okay, we're not involved in pricing. So the dealers they were like, okay, right, what we'll do is we'll take the current grey market price and we'll double it. That's where we'll go.
Yeah.
Hell no.
They're not going to let that because that's their brand.
Rolex at the very least influenced the pricing.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying that they sat there and said, right, it's going to be 60,000 Swiss francs or whatever. They did like, no, they didn't, but they influenced it.
It'll be a relationship similar to Tudor. They say to Tudor, oh, you do what you want, it's fine. But then when Tudor does something, they've got to check with Daddy first before they actually go ahead with it. It'll be the same with this. They're like, we're thinking of putting this up at this price. Is this okay with you?
What if one dealer was like, and I know no one would do this, but like, right, we're going to put them up at half price. What's that going to do to the brand? I mean, I know that's a ridiculous thing to say, but Rolex does have a position and an influence on that pricing. So.
They have to. No sensible business brain is going to say, tell you what, we're going to endorse you and let you do what you want.
Yeah.
There's no way. It'll be part of the new terms of an authorised dealer.
Yeah, I think, saying prices can vary from boutique to... Yeah, they're gonna vary a little bit, but let's not be silly. You're not going to go from one to another and be like, oh, I just saved 10 grand. Yes, not going to happen.
No chance.
So the next one, is there an age limit on watches eligible for the CPO program and how vintage can they be? So no, there isn't an age limit. So that does answer one question.
Yeah.
So that was good. It's still, got to be at least 3 years old.
But again, the question then is, there's no official age limit, but is there going to be an unofficial, like, you get 10 watches coming this week, 7 of them are obvious winners, but then there's a few dodgy ones. Do they have the freedom to say no? Or are they just going to
yeah, they can say no.
But is it going to be like under the table policy that they say no, even though they
The interesting thing is
yes?
this, and I didn't see why this was relevant. It says, flipping is not so welcome. No, I don't, you're not going to be able to buy a CPO watch and flip it for a profit. So
no, I think what they're suggesting is, because there's the 3-year thing, you can't buy a watch, flip it to someone, and then they go straight back into Rolex and CPO.
Well, you got 3 years. I mean, they've taken that option out by putting the 3-year barrier.
I think that's where the flipping comment comes from, is referring to that.
So the interesting one, and I think we touched on this when we discussed it, is there a mandate to replace the parts on any watch that is CPO certification? So could a watch maintain a patina dial or have imperfections like a spider dial, or will they service it and make it as close to new as possible? So the answer there, and it's vague because it says according to Rolex. Well, I thought this was the direct answers, Danny.
Well, which is it?
So basically, they're saying is they'll service a watch as they normally would.
Yeah.
But now that there won't be the discretion of a customer, what they're saying is they will replace parts with new generation material.
So basically, it reads to me that they're saying they'll sell it as they buy it, but then as you buy it, they'll say, but if you want, we can send it to Rolex and they'll do the normal service.
No, so what they're saying is, if for some reason the watch didn't need a service, yes, they would sell it as it is. But let's say you take in a 40-year-old sub.
Oh yeah, it's just come out of.
And you send it into, I know, right? So then they send it in for service as part of the CPO program, as in the dealer, yeah?
Yeah.
Rolex will change out the hands, the dial, and anything which is not perfect, which on a watch like that is going to be. So it will come. It depends. If you want a vintage watch that's like new, that's what you'll almost get. But a lot of the value will be removed if they replace that spider dial or that patina dial that maybe isn't perfect.
So again, it'll be up to the AV to decide whether they want to service it, and then after that they give you the option.
It doesn't really say that. Rolex might take that viewpoint. So who knows? Are the watches just sitting in the same case alongside the new ones? Who would have that question? Of course they're not going to do that. No, they're not.
Why the hell would they mix that in?
How long has the CPO program been in the works? Don't really care. Rolex declined to comment. Why? Why can't it just be like, yeah, we've been working on it for a few years?
Since the day COVID struck.
Like, stupid question, stupid answer. That doesn't. Okay, fine, whatever. Would special order watches be eligible for the program? For instance, corporate.
or
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
Domino's.
as long as the watcher is genuine. Yeah, great question. Will the retailer be permitted to sell CPO Rolex in a new Rolex box, or must be sold with specified packaging? So basically, it will be sold with the CPO packaging, but if it comes with, let's say if it's a 3-year-old watch and it comes in a new box, then yes, it will still come in that box relevant to it. There's like 165 comments. I can't really be bothered to
there's not
read
a lot
through
of
them. But
groundbreaking
I don't know,
stuff
my overall thing was, it wasn't that great. I think if you really got Rolex to answer these questions, your questions weren't good enough, they weren't framed right, and the answers weren't good enough. Don't get me wrong, I guess it's better than nothing, because who else has got access to Rolex? No one. So Hodinkee does have a little bit of a coup there by getting, them to allegedly reply, but
the date of March 27th they refer to a few times quite strongly, so I wonder what they've got in their pipeline, what answers they think they're going to get on that date.
Oh yeah, when they were talking about what's going to be new. Yeah, I mean that was just a bullshit thing. That was just clickbait, because no one knows.
If you're not coming back to Hodinkee, come
Obviously,
back in
there's
2
that
weeks.
big thing at the moment everyone's talking about, where this alleged book that got photographed. Everyone's like, well, it must be real because it was a book.
Do you know how easy it is to Photoshop that?
Well, exactly. It could have been photoshopped. Who would do it? Because obviously sales reps don't even have access to this information yet. Like ADs don't. So was it someone at the printers? Was it a Rolex executive? Very unlikely. Because I imagine if you have a job at Rolex, it's pretty fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
You're working for this secret organisation that fronts as a charity, but really,
It is. There's so many layers to it.
exactly, like it's going to be a cool place to work on a few levels.
Do you even think this guy knows who he spoke to?
No. I reckon it's. Do you know
It's like
what?
talking to a terrorist, like they're blacked out.
I reckon. Do you think Rolex could just be run by like AI at this point? That's why. It's
Their
like,
behaviour would support it. That's for sure.
there's actually no one works at Rolex. It's just all AI. It's taken over.
It's Hans Wilsdorf's personality just chopped up, digitised, and
And they've just like, this is what we'll allow the humans before we finish them. And one day all of our Rolexes are just going to explode on us, or like something's going to come out of them and like go into our ears and into our brains. It's
probably just
going to
implant through our wrist straight
Yeah,
away.
maybe. Yeah, it's just going to inject some sort of AI technology that'll take over our brains. Probably
They'll
going a
start
little
with
bit
people
far.
who buy Air Kings and milk houses.
Yes,
New.
you should start with those people. So, tell me what you thought about the article in the comments. I'd be interested to see. But yeah, I was just a bit underwhelmed by it all.
A bit.
I thought they could have done a lot more with it. So,
This article could have been called Rolex CPO, the answers, brackets, but not the answers. Smaller brackets, you'll have more questions now. Brackets that we'll never get the answers to.
we'll get the answers when it actually launches worldwide.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking to see what the effect is. So, yeah, bring it on. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any other questions, I will answer full Rolex for you.
Yes.
With the best guest answer.
We should do our own version of this.
Exactly. So, yeah, let us know.